After the real heir returned to the family, you, the imposter, offered to leave on your own. But the real heir grabbed you and pulled you back. Where do you think you're going? This is your home. It turns out the real heir had been reborn. In his past life, he was blinded by his sudden wealth and status. Not only did he let you leave, but he mocked and belittled you. But in the end, when his fiancée plotted to steal his fortune and left him to starve, you were the one who sought revenge for him. You exposed their crimes to the world. Because of that, you were kidnapped and ended up plunging into the ocean along with them. You had been a rising star in the entertainment industry, about to marry a powerful heiress, yet you lost everything because you intervened in his life. In that moment, the real heir felt a crushing regret. Luckily, he was given a second chance at life. This time, he's going to protect you. He'll make sure your career in Hollywood goes smoothly and protect you from cyberbullying and industry corruption. As for the people who killed his parents and eventually the two of you, well, there's plenty of time. He'll make sure not a single one of them escapes. The next day, the Fang family hurriedly called a press conference to announce your identity. At Lu Jingnian's insistence, you were officially recognized as a young master of the family. There was no imposter. Airin was his real brother, plain and simple. No one would dare call you a fake. As soon as the press conference ended, the Mu family, who were tied to the Fangs by an arranged marriage, came sniffing around. Despite the nice things said at the press conference about both of them being true heirs, the Moose knew that was just PR for the public. To a family of their stature, they didn't believe a word of it. Seeing Mu wanting again, even though Lu Jingnian had tried to keep his cool and mentally prepared himself for this moment, a murderous aura still radiated from him. You were about to say something to Lu Jingnian when you noticed his dark, brooding expression. He was looking at Mu Wanning like he wanted to kill her. You were startled. You instinctively took Lu Jingnian's hand and asked him with concern, "Brother, are you okay? Did you not sleep well last night?" The moment your hand touched his, Lu Jingnian snapped out of it. Hearing your worried voice, his eyes welled up. His AUN was truly beyond reproach. He couldn't help but think that he finally understood why someone like you was unforgettable. When Lu Jingnian didn't answer, you raised your voice a little. He snapped back to reality and said he was fine. "I'm sorry, AUN. I really didn't sleep well last night. I'll be fine once I get used to everything here." The two of you leaned in, whispering together. Nearby, Mu Wanning was mulling over what her parents had told her on the way over. She finally shook off her thoughts and looked up at the two men standing by the stairs. To be honest, she had always been reluctant about this engagement, which was only set 2 years ago. She felt a lot of pushback in her heart. However, her parents still controlled the family finances, and since you were undeniably handsome, she hadn't voiced any objections. She figured she could just keep a few side pieces anyway. She liked men who were humble and submissive, the kind who would worship her and cater to her every whim. As for the men from her own social circle, whether they were spoiled, arrogant heirs or brilliant, independent CEOs groomed for succession, she hated all of them. Someone like you, simple and good-looking, wasn't exactly her type either, but you were much easier to control than the others. She could easily manipulate you while keeping her main status at home and still having her fun on the side. But who could have guessed you were the fake heir? The engagement was always about a business merger. An imposter wasn't good enough for her. She understood why her parents wanted to switch the marriage partner, but she was annoyed. She assumed that some kid who grew up, living an ordinary life on the outside, would have been the perfect moldable husband. But a sudden rise to power can change a person's mindset instantly. He would likely be difficult to handle, maybe even unrefined and overbearing. A real nightmare to deal with. She looked up, sizing up Lu Jingnian standing next to you. He was wearing a white suit, though he looked a bit exhausted. He didn't look pampered like you. Life on the streets had clearly toughened him up, but that wasn't a deal breaker. He just needed some time to adjust to luxury. Lu Jingnian took after his father, Mr. Fang. He was striking, even beautiful in a bold way, but he looked too aggressive, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the way he was looking at her was anything but friendly. The thought of marrying a man like that made her feel completely miserable. The thought of marrying a man like that made her feel completely miserable. The elder Fangs had finished their talk with the Moos. They looked like they were on a mission. The Moo family really couldn't wait, could they? The press conference was just this morning, and they were already here demanding to switch the engagement partner. Everything they said, both directly and indirectly, reeked of disdain for both of the Fang sons. They looked down on you for being the fake heir, with questionable bloodlines, and they looked down on Lu Jingnian for growing up poor, assuming he'd be unrefined. If they were going to disrespect the family like this, maybe it was better to just call the whole thing off. This marriage was only arranged because they worried you were too naive to handle the business on your own. They wanted to find someone you could trust implicitly, a partner who had your back. That was the only reason it was set. But now that Lu Jingnian was back, and the two of you were so close, you could rely on each other and figure things out together. There was no need for a messy arrangement to bring in an outsider just to mitigate risk. Thinking of this, Mr. and Mrs. Fang suppressed their irritation. Following a look from his wife, Mr. Fang forced a smile and waved over to the two of you. As you whispered by the stairs, "Jingnian Ayuan, come over here. Your mother and I have something to discuss with you." You led Lu Jingnian over and sat down next to your father. Looking at his two sons sitting beside him, Mr. Fang's expression darkened. That Mu girl wasn't good enough for either of his sons. He composed himself, but before he could speak, Lu Jingnian beat him to it. "Mom, Dad, I heard. You'd previously arranged an engagement for Ayuan. Just now over by the stairs, I overheard you talking with these guests about switching the marriage partner. I take it, the young lady sitting over there is the Mu family daughter Ayuan was engaged to? Look, I don't mean to overstep, but it's the 21st century. Arranged marriages are a bit dated. I understand that elite families marry off their kids to expand their business empires and strengthen alliances. But there are plenty of people in our circle. As long as you let us choose someone from within that same circle, you can still achieve the same goal. What I'm saying is I don't approve of this engagement. Ayuan wasn't exactly thrilled to see her, and I'm not particularly fond of her myself. Let's just call the engagement off. It's not like some people here even respect us." Hearing Lu Jingnian say that, your eyes and your parents' eyes lit up. His words might have been blunt, but they were exactly what you were thinking. Meanwhile, the moose looked livid, clearly insulted by Lu Jingnian's directness. As for Mu Wanning, she looked completely stunned. She never expected to be rejected so thoroughly. Remembering her parents' instructions, she suppressed her anger and spoke up. "Mr. Lu, we just met, and you're already mocking me and acting like I'm worthless. Don't you think that's incredibly rude?" She thought her rebuttal would make Lu Jingnian feel embarrassed. Instead, he just shrugged it off, looking completely unfazed. "Sure, fine. I'm rude. I never took etiquette classes. I grew up on the streets, raised by foster parents who didn't have much. After they passed away, I had to scrap for everything on my own. I had no one to rely on. So no, I didn't learn the manners you're talking about. No one taught me. I just learned to be direct and tell the truth. I'm not attacking you personally. I'm just being honest." Is honesty not allowed these days? Mu Wanning's brow furrowed deep at his response. To someone like her who was used to being worshipped, Lu Jingnian's attitude was almost impossible to stomach. If their parents hadn't been in the room, she would have lost it right then and there. But remembering her parents' warnings, she forced herself to endure it. She needed the Mu family shares, and she needed this marriage to secure her position. She was the heir, yes, but she wasn't the only child in the Mu family. Her father had countless illegitimate children, and she wasn't her mother's only child either. To make matters worse, even her own biological sister was starting to feel like a threat to her. She needed this alliance to tip the scales. The Fangs were her best bet. They only had 2 sons, and one of them wasn't even related by blood. Once she married into a family like this, she'd have them wrapped around her finger. Her plan was simple: get married first, use the Fang influence to seize the Mu shares, and once her position was solidified, once she controlled the Mu group, the Fang family would be obsolete. Her so-called husband would be nothing more than a trophy she kept at home. The Fang's entire fortune would be hers, a reserve fund to cover any risks the Mu family faced. If she ever needed to use it, that would be the end of the Fang family. In a modern society, murder was a crime. But with enough money, there were plenty of people willing to be a clean, bloodless blade. It was only a few lives after all. As she thought this, her eyes grew dark and cold. Lu Jingnian didn't care that he didn't get an answer. He looked at Mu Wanning's dark, calculating expression and sneered inwardly. "Still plotting? You think I'm still the same sucker from my past life? This time I'm sending you straight to hell." Seeing that no one was talking, Mrs. Fang finally broke the silence. "Look, it's not that our family has a problem with you personally. It's just that we can't go through with this engagement. Jingyan has been away for so many years and we owe him so much. To make it up to him, we don't want to interfere. in his life moving forward. As long as he's happy, we're happy. And as for Aun, even though we raised him, he isn't our biological son. He's an adult now with his own goals and plans. It wouldn't be right for us to keep meddling. You've seen Aun grow up. You know his passion has always been acting. When he was our only child, he felt he had to give up his dreams for the family. But now that we have Jingyan, we don't want to stand in his way anymore. If he wants to pursue his career, he's going to be in the spotlight. He's still young, and having a fiancé could hold back his acting career. Taking everything into account, it's best to just call off the engagement before the senior moose could even respond. Mu Wanning began to panic. If the engagement was off, how would she get the shares and take over the company? She stood up abruptly, her voice urgent. Mrs. Fang, we can't call off the engagement. I know Mr. Liu just got home and might find it hard to accept me since I was previously engaged to someone else. But switching the partner was my parents' idea. I never wanted that. My heart was always set on the original plan. I truly care about our family's bond. Aun loves acting and wants to be in the industry. That won't get in the way of our marriage. We could always just keep it a secret. Besides, Aun wants to be an actor, not some teen idol. Dating or being married won't hurt his career. Before she could finish, Lu Jingyan lunged up from the sofa. He swung his hand and slapped her across the face. He hit her so hard that her head snapped to the side. Lu Jingyan glared at her and spat. You've got some nerve. You walk around like you're better than everyone, while Aun is the one who'd be stuck with you. Don't think for a second that just because Mom, Dad, and Aun are in the dark, you can keep playing them. I'm not doing you any favors today. We're going to settle this right in front of your parents. Lu Jingyan paused, his eyes shifting. To the senior moose who had jumped up when their daughter was hit, he looked at Mr. Mu and sneered. You both know. I worked a lot of different jobs before I came home. One of those jobs was working as a server at a high-end hotel. Other people might be fooled, but I know exactly what goes on there. Plenty of wealthy socialites like your daughter. Keep male celebrities and college kids on the side. As Lu Jingyan spoke, Mu Wanning's eyes filled with terror. She never imagined this real heir would actually know her dirty secrets. No wonder he'd been looking at her with such hostility from the moment she walked in. It was over. Everything was over. She should never have come here today. She was drowning in regret, but Lu Jingyan clearly wasn't finished with her yet. He kept tearing away her mask. Why am I bringing this up? Because of you, Mu Wanning. If I remember correctly, just yesterday, right before I was brought back to this family, I was cleaning up a mess in a room from the night before, and wouldn't you know it, that hotel room, which was still reeking of what went on in there, was registered under a very specific ID. It belonged to the great Mu family heiress herself. What are the odds I'm at work, and I run into the woman who's supposed to be my fiancée, checking in with another man? Talk about a cliché. Absolutely unbelievable. Hearing this, your face went pale. You looked at Mu Wanning in total disbelief. You couldn't believe what you were hearing. You never had any real feelings for your fiancé. But before the truth about your identity came out, you were still officially the Fang family heir. Mu Wanning, as your legal fiancé, was supposed to honor the commitment and walk down the aisle with you. To think she was out there playing around like that, she wasn't even trying to hide it. She was so careless that hotel staff knew exactly what she was up to. You shuddered to think, if your brother hadn't come home and none of this had been exposed, would your entire life have been ruined by this woman? At that thought, your hands and feet went cold. Noticing your reaction, Lu Jingyan stepped closer and took your cold hand in his. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I won't let you marry someone like that. She's not worth it. Meanwhile, the elder Fangs were flushing red with rage. They couldn't believe it. The fiancé they had handpicked for their son turned out to be such a piece of work. Trash like her doesn't deserve anyone. She deserves to die alone. Mrs. Fang suppressed her fury and gave a direct order to leave. No son of the Fang family will ever marry someone like you. This engagement was just a private verbal agreement. We don't even need a press conference. Yifang Tianming am officially declaring the engagement with the moose null and void. Now take your trash daughter and get out of my house. The elder moose were stunned by the turn of events, completely blindsided. Too humiliated to stay a second longer, they dragged Mu Wanning away in shame. Just wait until we get home. Mrs. Mu was so livid. She didn't care about her image anymore. shoving and hitting her daughter. Mu Wanning was still in shock that her secret had been outed. She let her parents drag her all the way to the front door. Her parents had already stepped outside before she finally snapped out of it. She turned back to Lu Jingyan. This is all a misunderstanding. That couldn't have been me, I can explain. Since she still had the nerve to talk, Lu Jingyan stepped forward and slapped her again. The blow sent Mu Wanning stumbling. Right out the front door. What a joke. You're damaged goods. This house is too good for the likes of you. He didn't give her another chance to speak. He slammed the door shut with a loud bang. As the door closed, the house fell into a heavy silence. It was clear that the three people in the room were stunned by Lu Jingyan's actions. Does your hand hurt, Jingyan? Your voice finally broke the silence in the room. Lu Jingyan looked down. At his reddened palm, he gave a wry smile. Yeah, Newton was right. Every action has an equal reaction. My physics teacher didn't lie to me. With the moose gone, everyone sat back down. They had originally planned to discuss the future of the two boys. But before you and Lu Jingyan even made it downstairs, the Mu family had shown up uninvited. Now that they were gone, they could finally get down to business. Mrs. Fang cleared her throat. Yuan, we know you've always loved acting. That's why you studied theater in college. Back when you were our only child, we forced you to suppress that passion so you could focus on finance. But now that Jingyan is back, we have two sons to think about. We've talked to Jingyan privately about his plans for the future. He says he likes making money and is willing to learn how to run the company. Your father and I have been talking, and we'd like to hand the business over to Jingyan. That way you're free to head to Hollywood or wherever and actually chase your dreams. We aren't playing favorites, and we aren't cutting you out of the company. If you ever want to give up acting and join the firm, we'd be more than happy to have you. That's the situation. You and Jingyan aren't kids anymore. We don't want to make your decisions for you, so we're putting everything on the table to see what you both think. Your eyes lit up instantly, and your voice was full of excitement. Really, you're actually letting me go into acting? Mr. Fang's eyes grew misty. He honestly didn't want you in that cutthroat industry. The entertainment world is a shark tank, but you love acting. You love bringing different characters to life. There's really no better place for you to be. Yuan, you have our blessing. Just promise us you'll be careful, okay? You nodded eagerly. You never thought you'd see the day your dream came true. Noticing Mr. Fang's worried expression, Lu Jingyan reached out and took his father's hand. Dad, I know you're worried about Yuan getting hurt, but you really don't need to be. Most importantly, as long as Yuan has the Fang family backing him, he won't have too much trouble in the industry. There might be setbacks, but you can't have a rainbow without a little rain. Yuan loves this life. Even if it's hard, he'll be happy. As Lu Jingyan spoke, he caught your eye and gave you a subtle nod to speak up. Dad, Jingyan is right. I have all of you behind me. And I'll look out for myself, I promise. I love acting. I'm willing to work hard to make my dream come true. Please just trust me. Seeing Mr. Fang relax after those reassurances, Lu Jingyan turned to Mrs. Fang. I'm happy to take over the company. But when it comes to business, in our specific operations, I'm still a novice. I need to learn the ropes first. I need some real-world experience. Until then, I'd like to ask Mom to keep running things. I appreciate you handling the heavy lifting for now. While the Fangs were planning for their son's future, the Moose had already left and returned to their own estate. Mrs. Mu was absolutely livid. She slapped Mu Wanning across the face. I turned a blind eye to you having fun, but you've clearly lost your mind. How could you be so reckless as to check into a hotel with a man? And of all people to find out, it had to be the Fangs. Now look what happened. The engagement is off, and you've completely humiliated this family. Get to your room and stay there until you've reflected on this. I'm handing your current projects over to your sister. And as for your status as heir, I'm going to have to reconsider that too. Once Mu Wanning was back in her room, she started smashing everything in sight. Damn it, how did Lu Jingyan find out? Why did he have to come back? If he hadn't been found, the Fangs never would have known any of this. I would have married Yuan without a hitch, used him to get the shares and taken over the company. I shouldn't be in this position. Her ongoing projects were almost finished. She knew exactly how much money they'd bring in, and now her sister was going to get all the credit. Suddenly, her phone started ringing in the middle of the trashed room. She looked at the screen and saw a familiar name. She was about to hang up her finger, already hovering over the decline button, when a thought stopped her. A wicked smile played across her lips. She swiped the screen and answered. Hello, Gu Chen. I need you to do something for me. After the senior Fangs left the room, your eyes welled with tears as you looked at Lu Jingnian. Thank you, Jingnian. I'm the one who took your place all those years, yet you're still looking out for me. Lu Jingnian reached out to brush a tear from your eye. Why are you crying? Don't do that. I'm your big brother. It's my job to take care of you. What happened with our identities was an accident. I don't blame you for it. It's not your fault. Back when your biological parents were still alive, they gave me the very best of everything. Now that they're gone, you don't have to worry about a thing. The Fang house is your home. We're your family. We'll handle everything for you. Go chase your dreams with everything you've got. We'll always have your back. As Lu Jingnian spoke, he remembered his past life. You had dived into the industry with zero experience, only to be eaten alive by a shady agency. Not only did they take most of your earnings, but they used threats and manipulation to force you into terrible projects. You almost lost everything. If Bai Ningbing hadn't stepped in to pull you out of that hole, your life would have been over. Lu Jingnian looked at you intensely. Yuan, there are a lot of bad people in show business. You can't just jump in head first, without a plan or protection. Choosing the right agency and manager is everything. Do you understand? Under his intense gaze, you felt a bit overwhelmed, but you knew he meant well. There was no reason not to listen. You nodded in agreement. Once he was sure you understood, Lu Jingnian headed straight for the garage, grabbed a car, and drove off. He was going to find Bai Ningbing, the man who saw you as his muse and had always protected you. Jingnian might have been reborn, but that only gave him experience, not a higher IQ. To run the company successfully, he needed help. To take down his enemies, he needed allies. The Fangs were powerful, but they didn't have a footprint in entertainment. To protect you in that den of vipers, he needed someone in the industry who could change the world with a single word. He needed Shengxi Group, a global powerhouse with its hands in every major industry. But of all its ventures, the entertainment subsidiary Star Chart is the crown jewel. Bai Ningbing is the only daughter of the group's largest shareholder, Bai Qingxian. She is the sole legal heir to the Shengxi Empire. She's been madly in love with you since her college days. In your past life, she was your guardian angel, ignoring the gossip and scandals. To protect your acting career, the princess of the entertainment world fought your battles for you. She is without a doubt his best option. Lu Jingnian isn't a genius, but he knows how to pick a winning side. He decided to take a gamble and lay everything out for Bai Ningbing. He'd use her influence to start his own game. Luck seemed to be on Lu Jingnian's side. He made it to the Shengxi headquarters in record time. After showing proof of the appointment he made last night, he was escorted to the penthouse CEO office. Bai Ningbing sat in her executive chair, dressed in a white gown. A look of weary impatience crossed her youthful face. Mr. Lu, if I recall correctly, we've never met. You just returned to the Fang family and you're already here. Is there something so urgent you had to see me? Because if not, I'll have my assistant show you out. After that, she fell silent. She clearly had no interest in entertaining Lu Jingnian. Lu Jingnian had prepared himself for this. Bai Ningbing was known for being blunt and merciless, as an only child, and the sole heir to a fortune, combined with her stunning looks, she was used to being the center of the universe. Over time, she'd developed a sharp antisocial tongue that could wither anyone in a single sentence. It was that mouth of hers that caused so much trouble when she helped you in the past. She thought she was courting you, but you were convinced this rich girl just wanted to buy you. You turned down her advances over and over again. If you hadn't been backed into a corner, you never would have said yes to her. That led to a mountain of misunderstandings later on. It took forever for the two of you to finally be together, only for a stupid decision involving Mu wanting to tear you apart forever. At the memory, Lu Jingnian felt a lump in his throat. He looked at his future sister-in-law again, his eyes brimming with tears. Seeing him cry, Bai Ningbing jumped up from her seat. Since she hadn't yet been hardened by the business world, she looked panicked as she scrambled, pointing at him from behind her chair. Whoa, wait. If you're going to cry, do it somewhere else. People will think I did something to you. I haven't even touched you. Don't try to pin this on me. Seeing Bai Ningbing's reaction, Lu Jingnian managed to pull himself together and force back his tears. He'd forgotten she hadn't even graduated yet. She was just an intern at the family firm, a total novice. Right now, she was just a sharp-tongued college kid, not the ruthless, decisive power player, who would eventually dominate the business world. But he was already here. There was no turning back now. Bai Ningbing was still being mentored by her mother, the legendary CEO Bai Ningbing. Even if she wasn't as shrewd as she would become, she shouldn't be acting like some naive girl, especially since he was the one who knew nothing about business. He had to stick to the plan and win her over. Ningbing, listen. What I'm about to say is vital. I'm not lying to you. You can verify everything yourself. I won't let my stupidity tear you and Ayuan apart again. Bai Ningbing remained on guard, but at the mention of Ayuan, a flicker of something crossed her eyes. It vanished instantly, replaced by that same look of wide-eyed innocence. She snapped, "Hey, do you even hear yourself right now? I know you hate Ayuan for taking your place, but it wasn't his choice. None of it was his fault. How can you blame him for any of this? Besides, I heard he offered to leave, and you're the one who refused. Now you're coming in here and wishing him dead before Bai Ningbing could finish?" Lu Jingnian cut her off. "Ningbing, everything I'm saying is true, and I can prove it to you. Tonight, the top trending story on social media will be about a famous actress caught in a hotel scandal." The office fell silent. After a long pause, Bai Ningbing sat back in her chair. She folded her hands on the desk and gave Lu Jingnian a searching look. "So you came all this way to tell me that why? If you don't give me a good reason, I promise you, you won't be walking out of here in one piece." Lu Jingnian instinctively took a step back. He watched as the innocent, naive-looking heiress shed her spoiled rich girl persona and transformed into a sharp, calculating CEO who could see right through him. One phrase flashed through his mind: a wolf in sheep's clothing. She really was the daughter of business legend Bai Qingxin. No wonder she'd been able to command Shengxi at such a young age, and even expand its empire in his past life. This was exactly the kind of powerhouse he needed. He was more determined than ever to stay on her good side. When Lu Jingnian finally walked out of the Shengxi headquarters, he was accompanied by a polished professional woman. Bai Ningbing probably didn't fully believe his story. It was only natural to be wary of a total stranger, who might even have issues with her secret crush. Besides, his claims about a past life were completely absurd. She was likely providing this help just to keep an eye on him. But it didn't matter. He'd gotten exactly what he wanted. He glanced at the woman driving the car, and a faint smile touched his lips. Jia Mi. She had been Bai Ningbing's most trusted advisor in his previous life. He hadn't realized she'd been with Ningbing this early. With her help, he'd be able to master the family business in no time. In this life, he would seize every opportunity to lift up the Fang family and get his revenge. More importantly, he would pave the way for you, so you could shine as a star and find true happiness. Back at the Fang villa, you were sitting in the living room, your slender fingers flying across the keyboard. You seemed to be deep into a search. The sound of a key turning came from the foyer. You looked up from your screen as Lu Jingnian pushed the door open. Your smile faltered when you saw the strange woman, following close behind him. "Jingnian Hasharananatam. Who is this?" Lu Jingnian swapped his shoes and waved Jiami inside. "Oh, Gwen, let me introduce you. This is the expert help I found. Mom wants me to learn how to run the company, but I've never done anything like this before. I didn't want to let her down, so I went out and found some backup. Don't let her age fool you, she's brilliant. It took a lot of convincing to get her on loan." While Lu Jingnian was busy explaining, Xiaomi was silently observing you. As you sat there at the table, you looked incredibly innocent, but that wasn't why she couldn't look away. Her gaze was fixed. On the monitor in front of you, are you investigating the Mu family? She stared in shock at your left wrist. A simple black beaded bracelet hung there. It was identical to the one her boss Bai Ningbing always wore. It wasn't expensive. In fact, it was a crudely made soapberry bracelet. There were no jewels or fancy ornaments, but her boss cherished it. As the heir to a billion-dollar company, everything Bai Ningbing wore, her clothes, her shoes, her accessories, was high-end. Yet this cheap little bracelet remained a constant on her wrist no matter how her outfit changed. She never took it off. Chami remembered what she'd overheard while picking up her boss from a bar last week. It all made sense now. This was the guy her boss's friends mentioned. The upperclassman she'd been pining for years. No wonder. No wonder her boss sent her here to work for a man who seemed to have lost his mind. As she processed this, Lu Jingnian sat down next to you. He glanced at your computer screen and his brow furrowed. "What's wrong, Jingnian?" You asked, confused. "Is this the agency you're planning to sign with?" Lu Jingnian pointed at the screen. Displayed clearly on the monitor was the contact info for a talent agency. You already had your email open and were halfway through typing a message Yeah, everything about them looks great on paper. You are not signing with them. Lu Jingnian's sudden outburst startled you. You didn't understand. Your brother had been so supportive since he got back. Why was he losing his temper now? Lu Jingnian had every right to be angry. In his past life, this company made your life a living hell and nearly cost you your dignity. He wouldn't let this trashy agency anywhere near his AUN this time. He forced himself to calm down and explained patiently, I've looked into this place. They exploit their talent and take a massive cut of their pay. They even pimp out their actors for roles. Companies like this are a cancer on the industry. Trust me, we aren't signing with them. Xiaomi, who had been eavesdropping on the conversation, perked up when she heard that her boss was obsessed with wanting to be an actor. This was a golden opportunity. If she didn't recruit him for her boss's company right now, she'd be failing at her job as a top assistant. She cleared her throat and spoke up as if she were just being helpful. Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I overheard you two discussing talent agencies. About talent management? Are you looking to sign with an agency if this handsome gentleman is interested? He should really consider StarChart. You have my word. In this industry, you won't find another agency more ethical or with a brighter future than StarChart. Lu Jinian's eyes lit up at that. He'd brought Xiaomi home, specifically hoping she'd offer to get you into StarChart. Unless you opened your own studio, StarChart was the absolute best choice. Their managers are the best in the business, and their resources are second to none. There's a saying in the industry, if you sign with StarChart, you're guaranteed to be a star. Most importantly, StarChart is a subsidiary of Shengxi, and Bai Ningbing is the sole heir to that empire. In his past life, after Bai Ningbing rescued you from that predatory agency, she moved you to StarChart. She put you under their top manager, which built the foundation for you to become a Best Actor winner. If you joined StarChart now, your path to superstardom would be set. Lu Jingyan cleared his throat, looking at Xiaomi with intense focus. Miss Xia, look at our AUN. He's got the looks. He's been around the arts since he was a kid. And he's properly trained. He's destined for greatness in this industry. Do you think it would be difficult for him to get into StarChart caught in the man's eager gaze? Xiaomi looked away, feeling a bit awkward. Let me call my boss. May I ask the gentleman's name? Of course, no problem at all. This is the young master of the Fang family, Fang Yuan. Xiaomi nodded and stepped into the corner to make the call. Once they finished talking, you leaned toward Lu Jingnian and whispered, let's just forget it. A company like StarChart wouldn't want a complete outsider like me. Why wouldn't they? Ah, Yuan, you're incredible. You deserve the best agency there is. Just watch. When she gets off that phone, it's going to be good news. While the brothers were whispering, Xiaomi was busy briefing her boss. Boss, I'm at the Fang residence. Lu Jingnian brought me here to help him. But that's not why I'm calling. I just met Fang Yuan. Yes, the one you've been looking for. He's planning to enter the entertainment industry. Should I bring him into StarChart? Xiaomi reported everything to Bai Ningbing over the phone. There was a long silence on the other end. It lasted so long, Xiaomi thought the call had dropped. Before Ningbing finally spoke. Does he want to join the industry himself? Or is this Lu Jingnian's idea or the Fang family's? Xiaomi looked over at you. Though you looked a bit hesitant, your eyes were full of hope and ambition. It's Mr. Fang's own choice, she replied calmly. Tell the CEO of the subsidiary to sign him. But listen, treat him like any other rookie. He doesn't like handouts. Let him earn his way up with his own talent. But make one thing very clear. Fang Yuan is mine. Don't let any of that industry filth near him. Not even a single drop. Xiaomi hung up and flashed a small smile. She'd been right. He really was her boss's secret crush. Finally, someone who could keep the boss in check. Things were definitely looking up. Now, she had a human shield for whenever Ningbing lost her temper. She walked back to the boys with a professional smile. Mr. Fang, my boss, has approved your entry into StarChart. When are you free? I can take you to the office to sign the contract now. The sooner we sign, the sooner we can get to work on your career. You stood up immediately. Right now is perfect. Just give me a second, please. I need to change. After Xiaomi nodded, you ran upstairs and picked out a more formal outfit. Xiaomi drove while you and Lu Jingnian sat in the back. Signing with a powerhouse like StarChart still felt like a total dream to you. Honestly, everything that had happened in the last 2 days felt like a fever dream. For someone as sheltered as you'd always been. It was a beautiful day, perfect for a new beginning. Every light was green. and the black Cayenne soon pulled up at the Star Chart building. With Xiaomi leading the way, Yu and Lu Jingnian were escorted straight to the VIP lounge. A fashionably dressed middle-aged woman was already waiting there. When she saw the two young men behind Xiaomi, she frowned almost imperceptibly. Maintaining her manners, she invited the boys to sit, before smiling politely and pulling Xiaomi out of the room. "You better have a good explanation for this. The message I got from the boss said, you told me it was just one rookie, and look at this, you show up with two of them." Her hand clamped onto Xiaomi's tie, but he quickly swatted it away. "Let go, just let me explain. You have to listen to me first. Why are you grabbing my tie? You trying to choke me? If the boss finds out you killed her top assistant, you're dead meat." The woman let go of Xiaomi and scoffed, her face full of annoyance. "Fine. You always hide behind the boss when you're threatened. Talk." Xiaomi straightened his wrinkled tie and spoke calmly. "The boss did only assign you one person. I brought the other one myself." Before he could finish, the woman flared up again. She grabbed his tie a second time. "You know I'm burnt out. I wanted to stay behind the scenes and just train new managers. Taking on this rookie was a favor to the boss. I only did it out of respect for her. And now you're using company time for your own side projects. You're bringing in extra work while on the clock for her getting choked again. Was the last straw even for someone as patient as Yami?" He shoved her hand away. "Listen to me, Suwan Rao. You can call me a lot of things, but don't you dare question my professional ethics. I have never used company resources for personal gain. I don't do side projects. When are you going to fix that temper of yours? Let me finish, okay?" Caught off guard by his sudden sternness, Suwan Rao nodded and stood still. Xiaomi adjusted his suit, satisfied, then continued his explanation. "Yes, I brought the other man here. He's the older brother of the rookie you're taking on. You have your assignment, and I have mine. The boss wants me to mentor him in finance and management. Once we're done here, I'm taking him straight to the Fang family's company." Su Wanrao frowned and cut him off. "Whoa, wait. The Fang family's company, if you're teaching him, fine. But why are you going to their office?" Being interrupted again was more than Xiaomi could take. He gave Su Wanrao a sharp look. "Can you just let me finish for once? He's the heir to the Fang family. Where else would we go but his own company? That's the only way to tailor the strategy and actually get the job done. I know you're about to ask a million questions, so just shut up and listen while I give you the cliff notes." Xiaomi glared at Su Wanrao. Once he was sure she wasn't going to interrupt, he continued. "The rookie you're handling is Fang Yuan, the son of the Fang family. He's got the acting bug and wants to break into the industry. The twist the boss has been pinning for him for years. Since the Fangs don't have any entertainment holdings, the boss saw her opening and snagged him for her own agency. Now the person I'm supposed to help is the other Fang son, Lu Jingnian. He seems to know something secret, which is how he convinced the boss to help him, though my working theory is that since Lu Jingnian is the biological son, and Fang Yuan was the one raised in the family, the boss is worried Lu Jingnian might do something to hurt her crush, so she's having me stay close under the guise of mentoring him. It's officially a helping hand, but it's actually surveillance. You get it now." Einstein's Su Wanrao looked stunned, still processing everything Xiaomi had just dropped. "No way. The boss actually has a crush and it's unrequited. Wow. I finally found that girl's Achilles heel. Next time she tries to pull rank and dump a rookie on me, I've got the perfect excuse to say no. I'm already busy babysitting your boyfriend. I'm spread too thin. I'll handle his career and nothing else. I'm not lifting a finger for anyone else. I'll basically be on cruise control, collecting a massive paycheck for doing the bare minimum. This is going to be glorious." Watching Su Wanrao go from shock to wearing a creepy, triumphant grin, Xiaomi couldn't help but give her another reality check. "Knock it off. Wipe that disgusting look off your face. Fang Yuan doesn't know she likes him. He might not even know who she is. Don't go filling his head with nonsense. And the boss wanted me to remind you. Fang Yuan doesn't want handouts. You don't need to give him any special treatment. Just give him the same resources as any other rookie. But here's the most important part," the boss said. "She doesn't want him touched by the industry's filth. Not even a little. Got it, Xiaomi? Who do you think you're talking to? Since when does any talent of mine have to sleep their way to the top, unless they choose to sell their souls? As for the other actors I manage, I don't let the toxic side of this industry touch them. Not even a little bit." Su Wanrao respected those who worked hard for their dreams, money, or fame, but she had no time for people who took shortcuts or slept their way to the top. Of course, she added quickly. I'm not saying Mr. Fang is like that. After all, he's the one the boss has a crush on. He probably doesn't even know. Some crazy woman is obsessing over him in secret. Xiaomi looked at her flatly. Does the boss know you think she's crazy? Su Wanrao wiped a tear from laughing too hard. She straightened up and said, of course not. I'd never let that little ancestor find out. She'd have my head. You aren't going to snitch or use Shimi. Besides, I'm not wrong. The boss is so young, yet she's more intense than her own mother. Is that even normal? Xiaomi didn't answer. He just gave her a cold look. Forget it. Drop the act. I won't tell her. But if you say anything to Mr. Fang that messes up the boss's love life, I guarantee she really will have your head. Su Wanrao adjusted her hair, looking completely unbothered. Relax. I'm not stupid. I want her to win him over. Then I'll be the manager for the boss's husband. Let's go. I wasn't paying attention before. I need a better look at our future first lady. The two of them walked back into the room. Xiaomi approached you, Mr. Fang. This is Su Wanrao. She's the best manager Star Chart has. I've already briefed her. She'll be handling your career from now on. You can discuss the details with her directly. Xiaomi then turned to Lu Jingnian. Mr. Lu Su Wanrao has everything under control here. They don't need us anymore. To get a head start on the boss's assignment, we should head to the corporate training group today. You need to get up to speed as soon as possible. Is that going to be a problem for you? Lu Jingnian stood up immediately. Not at all. Let's go right now. AUN, you stay here and work things out with the manager. We're heading out. Lu Jingnian wasn't worried about leaving you behind. In his past life, Su Wanrao was the manager. Bai Ningbing had handpicked for you. Her professionalism and expertise were second to none. After all, in your past life, Su Wanrao was the manager. Bai Ningbing handpicked for you. Her professionalism and expertise were second to none. Best of all, she has no other clients. She'll be focusing entirely on you. Lu Jingnian didn't have to worry about you anymore. Now that your future was secure, he had to focus on his own path. Since Xiaomi was so eager to mentor him, he wasn't about to say no. Let's head out then. After they left, the massive conference room was empty except for you and Su Wanrao. Trying to be polite, you stood up and extended your hand. Hello, Miss Su. I'm Fang Yuan. I look forward to working with you. I hope we get along. Your voice snapped Su Wanrao out of her trance. She took your hand and shook it. Professionalism aside, your look was truly exceptional. Photos didn't even do you justice. Just seeing you in person, she knew right away that in this industry, your potential was limitless. That Bai girl really has an eye for talent. It had been a long time since a rookie with this kind of star power appeared. After being burned by her last client, she hadn't planned on taking anyone new. She only agreed to manage you because her boss, Bai Ningbing, insisted on it. But looking at your bright, genuine smile, she felt that old spark again. With talent like this, as long as you were willing to work, she was confident she could lead you to every major acting award. In Sweep the Season, she could take you to the global stage. What manager doesn't dream of creating a global superstar? She was back in the game. She would hunt down every resource to put you on that throne and make sure you stayed well out of Bai Ningbing's reach. With that thought, she gave a playful smile. Nice to meet you, Fang Yuan. Let's go over your contract. We'll discuss the roadmap once the paperwork is settled. She pulled out a chair and sat, taking 2 copies of the contract from her briefcase and sliding them across the table. You picked them up and read the terms carefully. You grew more surprised with every page. The contract was incredibly favorable toward you. After Lu Jingnian pointed out that your previous choice was a trap, a predatory company that exploited actors through shady and unethical means, you had become much more cautious. On the way over, you'd already researched various standard contracts on your phone. Thanks to your sharp memory, you'd practically memorized all the fine print and common pitfalls, so it didn't take long to realize that this contract was heavily skewed in your favor. It felt less like a standard deal and more like a specialized agreement for a rookie. Honestly, these were the kind of perks, usually reserved for A-list stars, that an agency was trying to poach from a major competitor. Your mind raced with questions and you began to flip through the pages more slowly. Your shift in mood didn't escape Su Wanrao as she watched you. She sensed your hesitation immediately and cut straight to the point. What's wrong? Do you have questions about the terms, Mr. Fang? Not at all, Miss Su. The terms are perfect. It's just that the benefits offered here, they seem a bit excessive for a newcomer. As you frowned slightly in thought, Su Wanrao's smile widened. She leaned her chin on her hand, looking at you with unmistakable delight. Theoretically, you're right, but you aren't exactly a typical rookie. I've reviewed your file. A top student from University A, double majoring in finance and acting. Every single theory and practical course you took, you ranked first in your class. And maybe you don't realize this yet, but you have the exact look the industry is starving for. In other words, your potential is massive. If you put in the work, your future is going to be incredibly bright. You're going to be a star. She paused for a beat and sat up straight, giving you no room to argue. Personally, I think God was biased when he designed your face, so it only seems fair that your contract is a little biased too. Don't you think she wasn't just blowing smoke? And it wasn't just because Bai Ningbing had pulled strings to get you in the door. You'd earned this yourself. Based on the files she'd received, including your background and photos, she knew the information was limited. Just 2 thin pages. Could never summarize a person's entire life. But that tiny glimpse into who you were was more than enough for StarChart. This is the top-tier contract usually reserved for lead actresses. StarChart wouldn't pass up someone from a powerful family who's been groomed into such a versatile talent. They especially wouldn't pass up someone with a face this perfect, that pure, untouchable heartthrob look, who also has the academic chops to back it up. When you add all that together, it's obvious. Your potential in this industry is limitless. StarChart has always been generous with high-potential talent. This favorable contract, you earned it. You fell silent as Su Wanrao spoke. You'd always thought getting into StarChart was just dumb luck. You never realized that from their perspective, you were an investment worth making. You pressed your lips together and stopped questioning it, picking up the pen. You signed your name. On both copies of the contract, your journey with StarChart officially began the moment that ink hit the paper. Once the paperwork was done, you turned back to Su Wanrao. Everything signed. Can we talk about work now? Su Wanrao glanced at your elegant signature. She smiled and tucked the contracts away. Of course, follow me, Mr. Fang. I'll show you to your dressing room. You followed her to the 21st floor. She pushed the door open, revealing a bright, spacious room, equipped with everything an actor could need. Right there, on the main table, sat a script. Your eyes lit up the moment you saw it. You didn't expect StarChart to be this efficient. You'd only just signed your contract and they already had a project ready for you. Take a look at the script on the table. After I got your file, I handpicked this for you from our database. It's a fantasy web series about a heroine's rise to power. It's adapted from a massive online novel. The director is top-notch, and the lead actress is a rising star with real talent. The IP is huge, the book has a massive following, and the leads have a giant fan base. The marketing is already on point. Even before filming starts, it's a locked-in deal. Once it's finished, it'll stream exclusively during the 8 p.m. primetime slot. Basically, as long as this makes it to air, it's guaranteed to be a hit. Intrigued, you picked up the script and began to flip through it. While you scanned the pages, Su Wanrao continued the breakdown. The lead in this series has no official love interest. That means there's no traditional male lead. It saves us from any drama over top billing. Every male character in the script, with a name and a story, has some kind of emotional history with her. They each have their own identity, and each one is vital to her personal growth. They all have unique, compelling traits that make them stand out. Because of Shengxi's investment, several of the open roles were reserved for StarChart. Look at the character list on the first page. Any of those roles are ours to fill. You can have your pick. As you turn to the character index, Su Wanrao's tone turned serious. Fang Yuan, I really want you to take this project. As a rookie, your first role doesn't need to be huge, but it has to be memorable enough to win over the audience. And with this script, it doesn't matter which one you pick. The writing is so strong, and the characters are so well developed that you're guaranteed to leave an impression. That's exactly what you need right now. Do you follow? By the time she finished, you had a good handle on the script. She was right. In a project like this, almost any of these roles would be the perfect way for a newcomer to break into the industry. You looked up at Su Wanrao, your expression earnest. Mrs. Su, I hear you loud and clear. I'll do it. But I wanted to ask, which character do you think would be the best fit for me? Su Wanrao blinked. Caught off guard by the question, she'd assumed that once you read the script, you'd naturally go for the lead's childhood friend. The boy next door character, Qing Shui. It was an easy choice. The role was likable, the performance wasn't demanding, and it seemed to mirror your own personality perfectly. Usually when people think of the boy next door, they imagine someone bubbly, cute, and full of energy. But this script took a different approach. In this story, Ching Shui was different. He's a refined young noble with a passion for poetry. The role feels like it was written specifically for you. That's why Su Wan Rao was so certain you'd pick Ching Shui. But from what you're saying, you aren't sold on that character at all. She carefully considered the options running through the remaining roles in her head. She still believed Ching Shui was the best fit. Fang Yuan, personally, I think you should take the role of Ching Shui. He's a fan favorite in the original novel. He's extremely likable. And his character design is very appealing. Most importantly, his personality and appearance are a perfect match for yours. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to play him. You flipped the script to a specific page and slid it over to Su Wan Rao. Ms. Su, this is the role I want. Before I saw this character, I wouldn't have hesitated to pick Ching Shui. But after reading this, I think compared to Ching Shui, a role like A Miao is the one that's truly unforgettable. Su Wan Rao froze, sounding a bit hesitant as she spoke. Fang Yuan, are you saying you want to play A Miao? Is that right? Yes, you said firmly. The character of A Miao has the most profound impact on the heroine's life. His character arc is absolutely the most haunting part of the story. A tragic backstory, a brilliant talent, and a cold, brooding nature. He's like distant moonlight, untouchable, yet he silently protects Wei Ying from the shadows. Because of his miserable past, he's never truly been loved, so he uses that coldness as a shield. But when the heroine starts bringing him flowers every day, those feelings start to bloom in secret. In the end, for the sake of the world, and a tiny bit of his own selfish heart, he sacrifices everything to save her, to ensure he doesn't hurt her after he's gone. He walks alone to his death at the end of her blade. His sacrifice changes her entire perspective, and he becomes her eternal, unreachable love. You paused and looked at Su Wan Rao. Ms. Su, in the original book, this is based on the most popular male character. Is A Miao the one who dies? To save the heroine, right? Su Wan Rao fell silent. You've got a sharp eye. A Miao is definitely the fan favorite. But because he's so popular, the book fans practically worship him as a god. As soon as news of the adaptation broke, fans of the original novel made one thing clear: nobody in the industry was good enough to play A Miao. He was the heroine's one true love, incredibly handsome, but he wasn't just a pretty face. The role was a massive test of acting ability. The hardest part of the performance required the actor to perform a complex sword routine, himself with no stunt doubles allowed. It's the scene where A Miao, the senior disciple, demonstrates the Qing Yun sex sword style to a young Wei Ying. It's the pivotal moment. That first draws her attention to the art of the blade. Because of this high bar, the fans were convinced that no actor could actually pull it off. To meet their standard for A Miao, you needed a specific kind of beauty. There are maybe 2 or 3 men in the industry with that look, but they're all just idols who can't do much more than pout or stare at the camera. Meanwhile, the actors who can actually perform aren't handsome enough. When production on The Immortal Deer was announced, fans flooded the show's official social media, demanding that A Miao be written out of the script entirely. If no one could do the character justice, they'd rather he stayed on the page. Even if they couldn't stop the author from cashing in, because of the online backlash, the production team had a serious discussion. They decided that if filming started, and they still hadn't found the right actor, they'd listen to the fans and cut the character. Su Wan Rao was a fan of the book herself. Looking at you now, she saw a face that was practically divine. With the right makeup and wardrobe, you would perfectly capture A Miao's look and aura. But there was still the question of your acting. You had the professional training, so you were likely capable, but the fans' devotion to A Miao had reached a cult-like status. He was more like a myth to them than a character. If you took the role, they would be ruthlessly critical. There would be zero margin for error. As a newcomer, you'd be facing a wave of hate from the moment you were cast, until the very day the show aired. If you succeeded, you'd be an overnight sensation. If you failed, you'd be bullied right out of the industry. You were the boss's favorite after all. If Su Wan Rao let you get canceled right at the start, her own career would be over. Plus, she was worried about that sword scene. Props or not, blades are dangerous. And there was a real risk of you getting hurt. She didn't want to take that chance. Playing Ching Shui was a safe bet for a breakout role, with none of the risks. When she first heard the boss was forcing a new hire on her, Ever since she saw your photo, she'd been fighting to snatch the role of Qing Shui, away from another talent agent. But now you don't want the easy path. You want to take a gamble on a road full of thorns, a high-stakes choice between heaven and hell. She was truly hesitant to let you risk it. After thinking it over, she looked at you and said, "Hang on, let me make a call. There are some complications with the character A Meow. I need to check on something first." Su Wanrao stepped outside and dialed Bai Ningbing. After 2 rings, the call connected. Bai Ningbing's cold voice came through the line. "What is it?" Su Wanrao quickly explained the situation, laying out the pros and cons of both roles to her boss. There was a long silence on the other end. It lasted so long, Su Wanrao thought the call had dropped. Finally, Bai Ningbing spoke up again. "Let him do what he wants. He just needs to focus on moving forward. I'll handle everything else. If something like this comes up again, work it out with him. You don't need to call me." Su Wanrao watch, have faith in him. You should have some faith in your own talent too. Without waiting for a reply, Bai Ningbing hung up. Listening to the dial tone, Su Wanrao put her phone away and sighed. "You two certainly are a handful. Fine, whatever. The boss is right. I need to have a little faith. If you actually pull this off, this one role could make you. Given the massive fan base for A Meow and the show, playing this part would do way more for your career than playing Qing Shui." Thinking this through, Su Wanrao pushed the door back open. "Fang Yuan, we're good. We'll go with your plan and take the A Meow role. Get ready. We're heading to the set of The Immortal Deer. Since A Meow is such a popular character, there's going to be a quick audition. As soon as you pass that, we'll sign the papers. And get your promotional photos taken right then and there. Filming starts at the end of the month. Once your role is locked in, I'll release the other characters for casting." Su Wanrao drove you over to the studio. With production starting soon, the crew had already rented out the space. The director, Yang Ying, was personally overseeing the set construction to keep everything on schedule. It was time for your audition. You can only find talent in high-end cars here. The car arrived at the film studio, driving smoothly down the main road. You looked out the window. Every imaginable setting unfolded before your eyes. Buildings from completely different eras were packed tightly together. It wasn't chaotic. Instead, it had a strange, unique beauty. Seeing the studio so close, your heart began to race. This was the closest you'd ever been to real acting. Once you start down this path, you'll spend most of your life moving from one film set to another. Do you regret it? Not at all. You only felt a profound sense of peace. The car eventually pulled up in front of a cluster of ethereal celestial palaces. You stepped out and followed Su Wanrao, weaving through the busy crew members. When you spotted Yang Ying, Su Wanrao told you to wait while she went to say hello. Director Yang, long time no see. Yang Ying, who was busy talking into a walkie-talkie, heard the voice and looked up to see Su Wanrao standing there. The director froze for a second, looking a bit surprised. "Agent Su, what brings you all the way out here?" Su Wanrao smiled. "Nothing too crazy. I just signed a new artist who's interested in your upcoming project, The Immortal Deer. I brought him by for an audition." Hadn't Su Wanrao basically retired from managing talent? As an industry veteran, Yang Ying had heard the rumors about why she'd stepped away. Word was her last client had stabbed her in the back. After using her connections and resources to become a star, he jumped ship to another agency and burned every bridge with her. It didn't ruin her career, but given her status, it was a massive embarrassment within Star Chart. Ever since then, the word was that Su Wanrao was done with talent management. Many directors had actually felt bad for her. New actors come and go every season. Directors don't always care about the talent, but they care about the managers. Good agents are hard to find. Most of them are just sharks with dirty tactics. For directors who only care about money or being power players in the industry, those are exactly the kind of agents they like dealing with. But Yang Ying was different. She was dedicated to her craft and only cared about the work itself. They just want to make great films and leave their mark on the industry for years to come. Directors love an agent like Su Wanrao because she's so strict. They respect her work ethic. She has an incredible network, holds a high rank at Star Chart, and most of them consider her a personal friend. Plus, every actor she represents can actually act, so directors are always eager to cast her people. When she said she was done managing talent, no matter the reason, they all felt it was a huge loss. But it hasn't even been that long, and here she is with someone new, bringing him straight to an audition. Yang Ying's mind was racing. She handed the walkie-talkie to her assistant director and told him to keep an eye on things, then walked over to Su Wanrao. Wanrao, I thought you said you were done with the talent side. Su Wanrao smiled. That was the plan at first. But he's different. He's special. From now on, he's the only one I'm representing. He's going to help me reach my ultimate goal. Yang Ying nodded. Good for you. I'm glad that setback didn't make you give up on your dreams. I wish you both luck. She glanced over at you standing nearby. He certainly has the look. Great presence too. I assume he's here for the role of Qing Shui. With that face and that vibe, he's perfect for the part. Why even bother with an audition? You're still so by the book. Su Wanrao rolled her eyes. Slow down and let me finish. I never said Fang Yuan was taking the Qing Shui role. Yang Ying's reaction only proved how right you were for Qing Shui. Too bad this kid has a mind of his own. At this point, she could only hope the audition went well. She lowered her voice and whispered into Yang Ying's ear. Look, I think you really should see him read for it. He's not interested in Qing Shui or any of the other open spots. He wants to play A Miao. Yang Ying didn't skip a beat. Ah Miao, what about him? He doesn't need an audition either. Then she froze as it sank in, her voice suddenly spiking. Wait, what did you just say? He wants to play who? Ah Miao Wanrao, come on. You're a fan of the book and a veteran in this business. You know better than anyone how impossible that role is. We're so close to filming that we've given up on finding anyone to play him. The writers are already working overtime on a new script. The version I sent over to Star Chart, we only have the role because the new script isn't ready. Otherwise, A Miao wouldn't even be an option. Now you're telling me this newcomer of yours wants to play A Miao Wanrao? Are you messing with me? If you won't look out for me, at least look out for your actor. If he takes that role, he'll be trending for all the wrong reasons in minutes. Do you really want his career to start with a wave of hate? Are you out of your mind? Su Wanrao rubbed her ear, which was ringing from Yang Ying's shouting. She took her time before responding. Director Yang, you know as well as I do how much cutting Ah Miao would hurt the story's integrity. Look closely at Fang Yuan. With the right makeup and styling, he's the living embodiment of that character. And as for his acting, don't worry about it. He has a degree in performing arts. He's qualified in every way. Look, forget the business side for a second. As a fan of the book yourself, don't you want to see a perfect adaptation on screen? If Fang Yuan can pull this off, it won't just bring in views and keep the plot intact. It will fulfill the dream of every single fan. What reader didn't want to actually see a Miao come to life? When you signed on to direct this, didn't you want to be the one to make that happen? Yang Ying fell silent. Su Wanrao had hit the nail on the head. Of course she wanted A Miao on screen. Without him, the story would be incomplete. It just wouldn't be the same. Seeing the director wavering, Su Wanrao pushed further. Look, I brought him here to audition for a reason. If he really can't do it, we'll sign for Qing Shui instead. It won't mess up your original plan, but if he can, the payoff is worth way more than a few wasted minutes of your time for a screen test. Yang Ying's expression shifted several times before she finally turned her gaze to you. Fine, Wanrao, I'll trust you this once. Let's do the audition. Have the stylist get him into makeup. If you're willing to help me realize my vision, I won't let your actor down. For the audition, I'll have the whole thing recorded and send the footage to you. If he truly has what it takes to be A Miao, then when we release the official photos, if people start attacking him, we'll have the proof to shut them up. Then you just release the footage. We finally found someone who can actually play A Miao. I'm not going to let a bunch of fans and trolls, who haven't even seen the performance, bully him out of the industry. Meanwhile, at the studio, your makeover was underway. Over at the pay group, Lu Jinian was slumped across his desk. This was way harder than he'd expected. He didn't understand a single thing he was looking at. On his second day back from the dead, he'd handled everything, thinking he was some chosen hero of destiny. Instead, he was being utterly defeated by incomprehensible business plans and endless rows of financial data. He felt like a total failure. He just wanted to quit. He wanted to wait for you to get famous so he could live off his brother. He wanted to wait for you and Bai Ningbing to get married, sell the Fang family business to Shengxi, take the cash, and just disappear into a life of leisure. Why was he working so hard? Shuman, the assistant, continued organizing the files, glancing occasionally at the pathetic mess Lu Jinian had become. His boss was definitely overthinking things. There was no way a guy like Lu Jinian could ever be a threat to his boss's lover. The second things got tough, the guy turned into a total quitter. Still out of professional courtesy, Xiaomin didn't mock him. Instead, he offered some gentle encouragement. Mr. Liu, you have a lot to learn. No one expects you to master all of this in a few hours. Don't be so hard on yourself. As long as you're willing to put in the effort and really focus, you'll get the hang of it soon enough. Remember, you're the boss. Your employees handle the technical details and the day-to-day operations. You just need to understand enough to make sure nobody is ripping you off. Xiaomin's soft tones snapped Lu Jinian out of it. Damn it, he couldn't believe he was already giving up. Lu Jinian, you coward, pull yourself together. You didn't get a second chance at life just to be a bum. If you don't make something of yourself, you're wasting this miracle. Watching Lu Jinian suddenly catch his second win, Jia Min was a little stunned. Wait, does he always bounce back this fast? I take back what I thought. Lu Jinian is more than he seems. I'd better keep a close eye on him. Back at the set, your styling was complete. It was a simple look, the one Miao wears most throughout the series. The standard Qingyun sect uniform. Your hair was pinned back with a white jade hairpin. Your features were sharp, your skin like porcelain. Your eyes bright and clear, seemed to be veiled in frost. When you stepped out in full costume, Su Wanrao and Yang Ying weren't the only ones stunned. The bustling crew members stopped in their tracks. They could only stare in silence. Since The Immortal Deer was a top-tier novel of its era, it had a massive loyal fan base and an enormous influence. Many of the staff members had already read the book. Some were die-hard fans while others had just skimmed it. Now that production was starting for the sake of the job. Even those who hadn't read it had caught up on the plot. Looking at you in character, there was only one thought, running through every crew member's mind. The author's Miao had actually come to life. You began your first scene. For your audition, you chose the moment where Miao receives a flower from the female lead for the first time. Since the lead actress wasn't there, you didn't ask for a partner to read with. You performed the entire scene alone, acting against the air. Looking at the imaginary flower in front of you, a flicker of surprise crossed Miao's eyes. Then, as if remembering something, he knitted his brows slightly. He didn't take the flower. Instead, he looked at Wei Ying and asked junior sister Wei, why did you join the Qingyun sect, to pursue the great Tao, or just to flirt with men? If it's the latter, then I don't think this sect is the place for you. Watching your performance, Yang Ying nodded repeatedly. That's great acting. The expression and presence are perfect. You captured that fleeting joy Miao feels, that spark hidden beneath his initial shock, and played it exactly right. The character of Miao is someone who uses coldness as a shield. When he meets someone like Wei Ying, bold, earnest, a bit of a smooth talker who twists the truth and follows her stomach but has a good heart. He's like a block of ice dropped into boiling water. He starts to melt just a little. It's not that he's heartless. He just doesn't know how to express himself. He's afraid to show weakness. Yang Ying felt she didn't need to see anymore. You were perfect. You were the Miao she'd imagined. She stood up to end the scene, but then a voice rang out beside her. Big brother. I was just on my way back to the sect. I saw a little boy selling flowers. He looked so pitiful, so I decided to buy some. Look how well they suit you. I didn't have any ulterior motives. If this makes you get the wrong idea, then I'll just throw them away right now. Everyone turned toward the voice. A woman in casual clothes was standing right next to director Yang. It was the actress playing Wei Ying, the show's lead and rising star, Gu Qinghan. Caught off guard by the sudden improvised cue, you were stunned for a split second, but you quickly recovered and stayed in character. That's a pathetic excuse. You really think I'd fall for that? Even so, you looked at the vibrant flowers in Wei Ying's hand. For reasons unknown, you reached out and took them. Junior sister, as your senior disciple, it is my sincere hope that you focus all your energy on your cultivation. The demons are rampant and our people are being pushed to the brink. As cultivators, our duty is to protect the world. We cannot let ourselves be distracted by romance. Seeing Miao accept the flowers, Wei Ying flashed a bright, beaming smile. She clearly didn't take a word of his lecture to heart, only nodding enthusiastically. Of course I'll remember everything. You said senior brother. As Wei Ying's voice trailed off, the scene ended. Yang Ying immediately called a cut and turned to the assistant director. Take Qinghan to get her promotional photos done. She's on a tight schedule. I'm taking Fang Yuan to sign his contract. With him playing Miao, we won't have to cut the character after all. And make sure the writers know the original script is back on. The assistant hurried Gu Qinghan off to hair and makeup. You walked over to Su Wanrao about to say something when Gu Qinghan stopped halfway and looked back. She called out to you, Fang Yuan. See you next time. I'm looking forward to our scenes together. You weren't quite sure why she was being so friendly, but you gave a polite response anyway. See you then, Miss Gu. I'll work hard to keep up with you. Gu Qinghan waved and walked away. Su Wanrao led you after Director Yang. Once they were a few steps behind, she whispered, Great job. Congratulations, Fang Yuan. You nailed the audition. Thanks, Su. I couldn't have done it without your help. While I was in makeup earlier, I heard a rumor that the role of Amy Ao was supposed to be cut. Thank you for making it happen. Su Wanrao waved it off. Securing resources for my talent is exactly what an agent is supposed to do. Besides, it was your performance that did it. If you couldn't act, no amount of networking would have helped. By the way, do you know Gu Qinghan? You were taken aback. You didn't understand why Su Wanrao was asking that, so you answered honestly? No, I don't. Today was the first time we met. Su Wanrao looked skeptical. That's strange. If you don't know her, why would she jump in to read with you? She even went out of her way to say goodbye. You shrugged. The book has a huge following. Maybe Ms. Gu is just a big fan herself. She probably helped out, just because she really wanted to see a meow on screen. As for the goodbye, she was probably just being polite. Su Wanrao looked at you like you were the most naive person on earth. Seeing how little you cared, a series of red flags went up in her mind. While Director Yang called you over to sign the paperwork, Su Wanrao ducked into a corner. She kept one eye on you as she pulled out her phone, her fingers flying across the screen. She sent off a string of rapid-fire messages. At the Shengxi Group headquarters in the CEO's office, Bai Ningbing had just finished a meeting and was irritably tugging at his collar. Ever since he'd lent out his top assistant Xiaomi, his own workload had skyrocketed. He was beyond frustrated. He rubbed his temples, nursing a headache, and wondered if he should have Xiaomi find someone from his inner circle to help out. Money wasn't the issue. He could easily afford 2 executive assistants. He had so many things he actually wanted to do. He couldn't let busy work keep him tied down. He was the CEO, not a corporate slave. Working himself to death served no purpose. That was when Su Wanrao's messages came through. He picked up his phone and swiped to unlock it. The first thing he saw was a photo of a boy leaning over threading beads. Sunlight filtered through the trees, dappling his hair, his hands, and the hem of his robe. The soft, hazy glow made the boy in the picture look almost ethereal. Looking at his wallpaper reminded him of the day he took that photo. A smile finally touched Bai Ningbing's lips, but it didn't last. The moment he opened the WeChat message, his good mood evaporated. The glow of the screen illuminated his darkening expression. Boss, I took Fang Yuan to his audition today. We ran into Gu Qinghan, the female lead of The Immortal Deer. She acted like they were old friends. Not only did she jump in to read a scene with him, but as she was leaving, she said she was looking forward to their scenes together. I asked Mr. Fang about it, and he says he's never met her before today. Bai Ningbing put his phone down, but the messages continued to flash. Through his mind, one by one, he knew that the moment Fang Yuan entered the industry, everyone would be trying to get close to him. He just didn't expect it to happen this fast. Fang Yuan had only just signed his talent contract today. He barely had one foot in the door of show business. It was just a small audition behind closed doors, yet someone was already desperate to make a move on him. I really want to lock you away, somewhere no one could ever find you. I want to hide you from the world, so those beautiful eyes of yours would only ever look at me. Bai Ningbing's frustration finally hit its breaking point. He instinctively reached for his left wrist, touching the soapberry bracelet there. It was the one you made for him. Whenever he felt like he was losing control, he would touch it to ground himself. It took a long time for him to calm down. He picked up his phone again. Acting was your dream. He couldn't be that selfish. He couldn't let his own desires strip you of your goals and freedom. If people were going to swarm you, he'd just have to work harder. He dialed Xiaomi's number. On the other end of the line, Lu Jinian was still struggling with the financial reports. Xiaomi was about to help him when his phone's custom ringtone went off. He looked confused. Why was the boss calling now? What did he want? Xiaomi was still in the middle of his assignment. Surely he wasn't being asked to work 2 jobs, teaching Lu Jinian by day and doing manual labor at Shengxi by night. Feeling uneasy, he excused himself from Lu Jinian and went to the stairwell to answer. The second the call connected, before he could even say hello, Bai Ningbing started barking orders, like a man possessed. Xiaomi, find someone from your circle. Have them take over your duties while you're away. When you get back, the two of you can handle everything together. I'm not replacing you, but having only one executive assistant is clearly too much. Right, and make sure it's a woman. Don't cause me any trouble by bringing in a man. Don't worry, your pay won't go down. The new hire will start with the same package you had when you joined Shengxi. Also, before she starts, I need you to do something for me. Dig into that rising star, Gu Qinghan. See if she and Fang Yuan have any history together. That's all for now. Good work. I'm doubling your bonus this month. The line went dead. Xiaomi hadn't even managed to get a word in before the boss hung up. Recalling Bai Ningbing's tone just now, Xiaomi looked like he'd seen a ghost. Damn. I've never heard the boss talk that much in one go. I finally get it. Without me there to handle the busy work, he's hitting a wall. Plus, with that potential rival showing up near Fang Yuan, the guy's losing his cool. This is going to be some top-tier drama. I better find someone fast. For a double bonus, I'm going to be very motivated. He opened his WeChat contacts and scrolled through the folder labeled colleagues. After a bit of hunting, he locked onto a candidate. She apparently just quit her last job. Perfect, she's the one. Who knows while I'm getting this done? Maybe I can even trick her into buying me dinner. Full of anticipation, he tapped the chat for Shenji and started a voice call. She must have been on her phone already because she picked up after only 2 rings. A weary voice came through the speaker. Xiaomi, what's up? Hey, Ji, I heard you're back on the market. Xiaomi got straight to the point. Shenji sighed. Don't even get me started. It's unbelievable. My moron of an ex-boss. Let his little trophy girlfriend get me fired. Just because she claimed I was staring at her. Can you believe that? It's such a joke. The project was basically over, and he didn't need me anymore. So he found a pathetic excuse to kick me out. Just to avoid paying my year-end bonus. Seriously, screw the rich. I'm telling you. Sensing that Shenji was about to go on a never-ending rant, Xiaomi quickly cut her off. Ji, listen. Save the venting for later. Let's talk business. My boss is swamped lately, and he's realizing one executive assistant isn't enough. Every time he sends me out on a task, he has to handle the office crap himself. The spoiled brat hates the extra work, so he wants to hire a second assistant. And money is no object. The salary and benefits are flexible. My only condition is that I need someone to start immediately. Girl, I thought of you right away. I remembered your post from the other day crying on social media about losing your job and trashing your crooked ex-boss. Talk about perfect timing. You're looking and Bai Ningbing is hiring. It's a match made in heaven. I'm calling to see if you're interested. You in? Because if not, I need to keep looking. Silence fell on the other end of the line. Xiaomi pressed the phone closer to his ear, about to ask if she was still there, when Shenji let out a high-pitched scream. I'm in, Xiaomi. You're a lifesaver. I love you. I love you. Once I'm settled, dinner is definitely on me. Xiaomi pulled the phone away, rubbing his ringing ear. I get it. I get it. Keep it down. You're gonna make me go deaf. Sorry, I'm just so excited. I can't thank you enough, girl. If you ever need anything, just say the word. Anyway, when do I start? The boss said as soon as possible. Why don't you go handle the paperwork today? It's a bit late, but HR should still be there. Get it processed now. You might actually have work to do tonight. Xiaomi later remembered the boss wanted a background check on the connection between Gu Qinghan and Fang Yuan. He guessed the coordination had already begun, meaning it would be a long night. I'm heading to the Shengxi headquarters right now. Give them a heads up so security doesn't block me at the door. Will do. I'll call the front desk. Just head straight over. I've got to go. Talk soon. After hanging up, Xiaomi sent Shenji's contact info to Bai Ningbing, along with her resume and files. Then he called the Shengxi reception desk to clear the way for her. Once that was sorted, he went back to Lu Jinian's side. Seeing Lu Jinian still buried in financial reports, Xiaomi didn't disturb him. He pulled out his laptop and started typing away. Within moments, Gu Qinghan's entire history appeared on the screen. He scrolled through the files one by one, finally finding the answer he was looking for. Gu Qinghan studied acting at a university. Since graduating, she has returned many times as a distinguished alumna to visit her former professors. Her most recent visit coincided with Fang Yuan's time there. It turns out her mentor is also Fang Yuan's teacher. Since Fang Yuan was a top student, it's only natural the teacher would mention him. That explains why Gu Qinghan has heard of him. Xiaomi highlighted the key points, packaged the data, and sent everything over to Bai Ningbing. Noticing night had already fallen outside, he closed his laptop and walked over to Lu Jinian. Mr. Liu, it's getting late. Let's pick this up tomorrow. Just mark anything you don't understand, and I'll walk you through it first thing in the morning. Liu Jinian looked up from the screen and glanced out the window. He looked a bit dazed. Is it dark out already? He rubbed the bridge of his nose, feeling sheepish. I guess it is pretty late. I hope I didn't keep you past your shift. Sorry, Xiaomi, you should head home. I'll stay and look this over for a bit longer. When Liu Jinian turned back to the screen, Yami was speechless. This kid is stubborn as a mule. Ever since he got his motivation back, he's been obsessed with burying himself in work. What's the rush? Xiaomi didn't move. Instead, he reached out and blocked the screen. That's not what I meant, Mr. Liu. In this industry, overtime is expected. There's no such thing as being kept late. My point is that it's late enough. You've taken in a lot of information today and you need time to process it all. Besides, Fang Yuan should be finishing up soon. Knowing how much you care about your brother, I'm sure you'll want to hear how his day went. Xiaomi certainly knew which buttons to push. Hearing that, Liu Jinian immediately gave up on the work. He stood up and rubbed his stiff neck. You're right. I need to get home and ask Fang Yuan how the audition went. He shut down his computer, grabbed his things and bolted out the door. Xiaomi just stood there stunned by the sudden energy. On the set of The Immortal Deer, once you finished signing with director Yang and discussed the character of Amy Ao, the hair and makeup team pulled you away. You needed a touch-up for the promotional shoot. You looked perfect for the camera. Since you had just performed, the look from the audition needed a few minor tweaks to the details. By the time you finished in hair and makeup and reached the studio, Gu Qinghan had already left. Under the photographer's guidance, the promotional shoot went perfectly. After saying goodbye to director Yang, Su Wan Rao drove you home. Filming was still a few days away. After dropping you off, she still had to finalize the rest of the cast. She also needed to find you an assistant before production on The Immortal Deer began. After you left, the photographer stared at the shots on his monitor. Mr. Fang is a natural in front of the camera. He's one of the best actors I've ever shot. He's a born star. This is exactly what he was meant to do. Director Yang walked in just in time to hear that. He leaned in to look at the screen and was instantly blown away. He pulled up the photos of the other characters they'd already shot. After comparing them, he made a snap decision. Release these photos in pairs. Post the female lead and Amy Ao together. Don't tag the actors yet. Let's see how the internet reacts first. And send me that audition footage from earlier. I need to forward it to Su Wan Rao. When you got home, Liu Jinian was already on the sofa, typing furiously on his phone with a scowl. He looked like he was in the middle of a heated argument. Hey, what are you doing, Liu? Jinian was busy raging at people online. You leaned over to see his screen. It turned out the official account for The Immortal Deer had already posted today's photos. The news that someone was actually playing a meow had set the internet on fire. It was already trending at the top of Weibo, and the comments section was a total disaster. I thought they were cutting a meow from the show. What is Yang Ying thinking? Why did he hire an actor and take promo shots? Any book fans here, I don't care what you say. Don't you think this guy in the photo looks exactly like Amy Ao described in the book? Are you crazy? This is a fan matter. Random passers-by should stay out of it. Our Amy Ao is perfect. No mere mortal could ever play him properly. Caught up in his online battle, Liu Jinian finally realized it was you who had asked the question. He slammed his phone face down on the sofa. Fang Yuan, you're back. Are you tired? Haha. I wasn't doing anything important. Why don't you go get some rest? You smiled. You don't have to change the subject. I saw everything. You don't need to worry about me. When I decided to take the role of Amy Ao, I knew what I was getting into. Look, they're just skeptical because I'm a newcomer. Nobody is saying I don't look the part. If the look is right, that's half the battle won. I'll just have to prove the other half to them. You pulled out your phone and opened Weibo, scrolling through the top trending topics. Seeing that you really weren't bothered, Liu Jinian finally breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, he wasn't sure how much you could handle. In his past life, the two of you weren't close. Now that he's trying to be a part of your life, he's constantly walking on eggshells out of guilt. Because of that guilt, he can't stand anyone talking bad about you. It makes him impulsive and defensive, reacting even more strongly than you do. He almost forgot that while you were raised sheltered, you are far more resilient than he imagined. His mind started to wander as he fell silent. He wondered if your first role would actually be a success. He couldn't use his memories of the past to predict it. After all, the character of Omiao was completely cut from the show in his previous life. Back then, under pressure from the book fans and unable to find the right actor. The production team just deleted the character. They gave all his scenes to some generic made-up sect elder. When the show finally aired, it relied on a popular lead couple and a primetime slot on Tomato TV to get by. It was a hit for a while, but it never became the cultural phenomenon it could have been. Critics complained that without Amy Ao, the show lost its magic and emotional soul. Even the female lead's character arc felt rushed and forced. The whole thing just felt off. Since things were going so differently this time, Lou Jinian had no idea what kind of impact your performance would have. The unknown was terrifying, but as he sat there overthinking, your sudden gasp snapped him back to reality. Oh my God, I can't believe Senior Chen is that kind of person. Cheating on his wife in a hotel. With multiple people, Lou Jinian's eyes widened. That's right, I almost forgot. Tonight is the night. That massive scandal about the A-list actress drops. It felt a little wrong to be happy about it, but he couldn't help but hope. It would take over the #1 trending spot. Anything to bury the backlash about you playing Amy Ao. Using one person's trash to save another. He didn't feel bad at all as he excitedly refreshed his feed. He watched as the trending list on Weibo shifted. The top 3 spots were suddenly dominated by sirens. Famous actress caught cheating. Breaking news, uncensored footage of actress Chen's hotel orgy. Who is this Chen? Doesn't matter. Finally, I can relax. As long as Fang Yuan isn't at the top of the list, people will forget about him in a few days. Thank you, Miss Chen, for taking one for the team. But just as Lou Jinian let his guard down, the trending list shifted again. The scandal was being suppressed, and the tags for the immortal deer and Amy Ao were surging back to the top. This is ridiculous. There's a massive celebrity scandal right there, and you don't care. You'd rather obsess over a newcomer. Is everyone out of their minds? What is wrong with people? Lou Jinian was so angry he nearly smashed his phone. Meanwhile, at the Shengxi Group executive office, Shen Zhiyi had finished her onboarding and was waiting for her new boss to brief her. But Bai Ningbing wasn't even looking at her. He was staring at his computer, brow furrowed, radiating a dark, heavy energy. Even from a few feet away, it was enough to make her shudder. Did I say something wrong? Why is he looking like that? Is he not happy? If there's a problem, just say it. Don't scare me like this. Jiami, help, you didn't tell me. Your boss had such a terrifying temper. Shen Zhi screamed internally. She watched as Bai Ningbing, without saying a word, bent his designer fountain pen nearly in half. She swallowed hard, unable to look away. She was more scared for herself than the pen. If he lost it, he might send her straight to the hospital. She didn't want to be the person who got wrecked by their boss on the very first day. Being naturally prone to anxiety, she started to space out just to cope with the tension. Suddenly, she felt a cold gaze fixated on her. She snapped to attention and met Bai Ningbing's eyes. Crap, first day on the job, the boss is in a foul mood, and he caught me daydreaming. I'm dead. I'm so dead. Her heart skipped a beat. But Bai Ningbing didn't seem to care that she'd lost focus. He just spoke in a low, cold voice. Your name is Shen Zhi, right? Do you know how to handle PR and social media bots? Yes, sir. Whatever you need. Bai Ningbing gave his orders. I want every single trending topic on Weibo regarding the immortal deer or Amy Ao taken down immediately. Also take $50 million. Take every scandal involving that actress Chen Yani and push them to the very top. Any questions? Shenji didn't dare ask for clarification. She got straight to work, leaving Bai Ningbing alone in his dark executive office. He stared at his computer screen, eyes dark with rage, the faint blue light reflecting off his face and revealing the storm brewing beneath the surface. Using my people as a distraction? Chen Yani has a lot of nerve. His phone chimed with a WeChat message. It was from Xiaomi. Boss, I looked into it. Chen Yani is signed with Tulip Media. They have a few ongoing partnerships with several of our subsidiaries. The sound of a call connecting soon echoed through the quiet room. Bai Ningbing leaned back in his chair, phone in one hand, while his other hand tapped rhythmically on the armrest. Someone picked up almost immediately. Hello, Tulip Media. This is Bai Ningbing, CEO of Shengxi Group. His voice was completely flat, devoid of emotion. I'm calling for one reason only. Chen Yani has become an eyesore. From now on, I don't want a single project associated with Shengxi to have anything to do with her. There was a brief silence on the other end, followed by muffled whispering. After a sharp gasp, the person spoke up cautiously. Mr. Bai, are you saying you want us to blackball Chen Yani? Bai Ningbing gave a cold laugh. Blackball her? I never said that. I just don't like her. Do with that what you will. He hung up, but his anger hadn't faded one bit. He could accept you being in show business, and he could even handle you, trending because of a controversial role, but he absolutely would not allow the person he cherished most to be used as a shield to hide someone else's filth. You want to play dirty? Fine. Let's see who has more money and whose connections run deeper. I'm going to ruin you. I'll make sure you never crawl out of the gutter again. On the other end of the line, the head of Tulip Media stared at his phone completely stunned. It took a nudge from his assistant to snap him out of it. Boss Chen, Yanni's scandal is back at #1. Look, didn't you hear me? The CEO roared. The head of Shengxi Group says she's an eyesore. I don't care that she's currently drowning in scandals. Even if she were at her peak and bringing in millions for this company, I'd still blackball her and lock her away. This CEO had built his company on the idol girl group trend, and while he'd found success, he lacked any real foundation or backing. He wouldn't dream of crossing Shengxi Group. Shengxi was a global titan, especially in the entertainment industry. Their subsidiary Xingtu was the gold standard. It didn't matter what city you were in. Every other agency stayed out of Xingtu's way. If the CEO of Shengxi didn't like an artist, it didn't matter which company they belonged to. If they were even remotely connected, they were finished. His business was thriving and currently partnering with Shengxi subsidiaries. He wasn't about to risk everything for a PR disaster like her by offending the Shengxi heir. With the boss's orders finalized, the assistant left to deliver the news of Chen Yanni's career-ending freeze. No one could have guessed that an A-list actress like Chen Yanni would destroy her entire career just by trying to use Fang Yuan as a shield. Back in her dressing room, Chen Yanni watched the trending topics fluctuate, looking completely frantic. She kept badgering her manager to spend more money to bury the news. At this point, she didn't care about a distraction anymore. She just wanted the scandal gone. Her manager, Red, looked at her with pure disgust. He'd warned her 1,000 times to tone it down. If she wanted to play around, she should have been discreet. But this idiot thought she was safe because the hotel was remote. She'd completely let herself go, thinking no one would catch her. When the paparazzi finally cornered her, they asked for $10 million to bury the evidence. She thought the price was too high, so she screamed at them over the phone, calling them delusional. She bragged that she had the power to pull any topic she wanted, and that arrogance led her right to this moment. Between pulling the trending topics and buying other people's news to use as a shield, she'd already spent well over $10 million. That wasn't even counting the cost of PR and fan damage control. She could have ended this for $10 million at the start, but she was too cheap. Now she was facing total ruin. Red was done with this moron. Chen Yanni had started as a low-life thug. She had no education or class. She'd relied entirely on her looks and found fame playing rebellious, cynical roles. It was all a front. She barely managed to snag that Best Actress award because the top-tier talent was away on sabbatical. Now she actually thinks she's a big deal. She used that title as leverage to marry a wealthy fan and secure some reality show gigs just to stay relevant. But she still had the nerve to cheat on her husband. Then she was too cheap to pay off the people who caught her. And look at her now. Her husband is filing for divorce, her agency is freezing her out, and she's become a total laughingstock. Just then, an assistant walked in. Red, can you step out for a second? I need to tell you something. Once they were outside, the manager listened to the update. Red covered his mouth in shock. Are you serious? This idiot actually pissed off the CEO of Shengxi. It's the truth. The assistant nodded frantically. I was right there next to the boss. At first, I thought it was a prank. But then, the head of the Shengxi subsidiary we partner with sent a message. He said his boss's personal assistant wanted our boss's contact info for something urgent. Red, you better start looking for a new job. Our boss wants to get on Shengxi's good side, so we have to bury Chen Yanni. He wants her gone from this industry for good. Fine, I get it. Go tell the boss we're on it. Red took a deep breath. She's done. She'll never work in this town again. Still pacing anxiously in her dressing room, Chen Yanni had no idea that her career was officially over. Back at the Fang Villa, watching the trending topics about you get buried again, Lu Jinian finally realized something was off. He glanced over at you. You had stopped checking Weibo and were focused on studying your script. He quietly took out his phone and messaged Xiaomi. Lu Jinian, Xia, did you see the trending list on Weibo? Don't you think it's weird? It seems normal. Mr. Fang's role is controversial, so it's natural he'd be trending. No, I mean the stuff about Chen Yanni's affair. The boss said you already knew about that, Mr. Liu. I'm asking why a scandal that big is being buried by news of Fang Yuan playing a Miao. Mr. Liu is a man of your status. I think you can guess why. The list shifted again. It's because the boss stepped in. It only cost 80 million. To the boss, that's just pocket change. Liu Jinian stared at the message as it finally clicked. So my future sister-in-law stepped in. Bai Ningbing, you lucky bastard, you really picked a winner. While you were focused on the script, Su Wanro called you. Yen I set up a Weibo account for you. I'm sending over the login details now. I also have the video from your audition today. Once you're in, post that video and then repost the official stuff. Repost the costume photos of you and Gu Qinghan blowing up before you even have a major credit. This is your big break. Not only can you shut up your critics, but you can start building a fan base. This is a rare chance to get a following before you even have a major role. Is a rare opportunity in this industry. You have to seize it. It'll make it much easier for me to negotiate your next project. You downloaded the video and watched it through once. After making sure everything looked right, you logged into Weibo with Su Wanro's credentials. You posted your very first update audition successful. My first role will be A Miao. I'll work hard to capture his mystery. Then you reposted the costume shots. From the official Immortal Deer account, you captioned it, "Can't wait to start filming," wishing the production a smooth shoot. The book fans who had been obsessing over A Miao's casting found your profile almost immediately. They swarmed your page and watched the video. The comments section exploded. Guys, is it just me? I thought this new guy was just a pretty face, but his acting is actually incredible. I'm a fan. This is exactly how I imagined A Miao. As a fan of the book, I'm totally satisfied. I guess the industry did have the right person for the part. He was just hidden away until now. It's actually crazy. They searched half the industry and found nothing, only to be outdone by a rookie. Hey, before you guys start arguing, look at his bio. He's a Xingtu rookie, and he's managed by Su Wanro. She's a legend. Anyone she signs is going to be top tier. Your comment section was buzzing. With just those two posts, your new account gained over 1 million followers. You stared at the skyrocketing numbers in total disbelief. You weren't really into novels, so you had no idea the Immortal Deer fan base was this powerful. You realized you should probably do more than just study the script. You needed to make time to read the original book. With the crisis averted, you had an early dinner and went to bed. Meanwhile, Bai Ningbing was still working late at Shengxi Group. He was watching your audition video over and over again. With expert timing, he captured the exact 0.3 seconds, where you looked stunned when Gu Qinghan suddenly appeared. After setting it as his desktop wallpaper, he smirked with satisfaction. He's so cute when he's dazed. I just want to kiss him. The next day, while you were home reading the original novel, Su Wanro called you. Yen, I'm interviewing assistants for you. Do you want to come by the office and help choose? That's okay, Su. I wouldn't even know what to look for. You pick. I trust your judgment. Oh, that's right. A Miao has a sword dance scene that requires no stunt double. Should I hire a fencing coach for you? You don't have to learn anything too complex. As long as you master a few key moves, we can get the shot. You paused for a moment, then smiled. Su, I actually studied swordsmanship when I was a kid. If you're worried, I can record a quick video for you. Once Su Wanro agreed, you hung up and opened your laptop's camera. Since you didn't have a sword at home, you dug out an old baseball bat. You used it as a substitute for a blade and recorded a 1-minute demonstration to send to Su Wanro. When she saw the video, she was speechless. She couldn't understand why on earth you'd use a baseball bat. She almost thought you were about to go beat someone up. But thanks to her sharp manager's intuition, she messaged you immediately. Post this video to Weibo. It's going to be a hit. You did exactly as she said. You logged in and posted no sword on hand, so I'm making do with a baseball bat. Is this how you imagined A Miao's sword dance? Predictably, the post exploded with comments and new followers. Thanks to that unconventional video, you went viral all over again. Hype for Immortal Deer remained sky high, leaving the audience desperate for more. Amidst all the public anticipation, the rest of the cast was finalized, and their costume photos were released. By the time you finished the novel and knew the script by heart, the first day of filming had finally arrived. After a simple opening ceremony, cameras officially started rolling. The first block of filming was set at the Qingyun sect. As the massive studio set was already complete, We're starting with the Qingyun sex scenes first. Our very first sequence is the grand induction ceremony for the female lead Wei Ying. And your debut scene for this production is the highly difficult sword dance. Since you already posted that demonstration video on Weibo, director Yang Ying isn't worried about your performance. In fact, she's actually quite excited. She's eager to see A Miao truly come to life on screen. All departments prep for the first shot. Induction ceremony sequence. Action. At the director's command, the cast and crew snapped into character. Wei Ying had just passed her spiritual root test and was celebrating in the crowd. When a collective gasp rippled through the onlookers, she looked up instinctively and froze in her tracks. There alone on the sparring stage stood a man of breathtaking beauty. His features were so striking that she couldn't find the words to describe him. Every superlative she knew felt completely inadequate when compared to that face. It was a face touched by the divine, making one feel that he didn't belong in this chaotic world. He belonged on a high sacred throne among the immortals. His expression was icy, yet held a hint of pity, as he looked down upon the noise and heat of the mortal realm. On stage, you seemed used to being stared at. You ignored the crowd entirely, and with a cold and focused intensity began to move. Your longsword glowed with a faint blue light as you swung it. The movements were crisp and clean, the technique complex and profound. Between the sharp hum of the blade and your ethereal, distant expression, you left a permanent mark on Wei Ying's heart. In that moment, Wei Ying's journey into the immortal path truly began. "Cut," Director Yang Ying shouted. "Management, get ready. Props, let's get the set dressed for the next scene." As the crew busied themselves, Director Yang began reviewing the footage. Your assistant K Jun walked over and handed you a thermos. "That was incredible, Yuan. You looked so powerful with that sword. Could you teach me some of that? I want to learn how to defend myself." You handed the cup back to him, gave his cheek a playful pinch, and whispered, "That sword dance was just for show. It looks good, but it's not practical. If you want to get in shape or pick up a hobby, I can teach you. But if you're looking for actual self-defense, you're better off learning grappling." Kejun nodded. "Oh, I see. Got it, Yuan." While the two of you were discussing combat techniques and waiting for the next shot, Gu Qing'an's voice suddenly cut in. "Yuan, we meet again. How are you settling in for your first professional gig?" You and K Jun stopped talking immediately. A sense of wariness rose in the back of your mind, but you kept it polite. "Hello, Mr. Gu. Everything is going great. The director is very patient, and the cast and crew have been easy to work with. That's good to hear." Gu Qing'an nodded with a smile. Seeing him approach you instinctively took a step back. During the audition, you thought Sue was overreacting. You were just a rookie. Why would a major star like Gu Qing'an go out of his way to pay attention to you? But looking at his gentle smile now, your suspicion only grew. After all, you didn't even know the guy. Noticing your reaction, Gu Qing'an blinked in surprise. Then something seemed to dawn on him, and he laughed at himself. "Look at my memory. I completely forgot to tell you. No wonder you're looking at me like I'm a predator. Let me introduce myself properly, Yuan. I'm Gu Qing'an. I graduated from the university's acting department in 2020. Professor Ho was my mentor. He looked after me at school, and even after I graduated, he helped me land some of my first roles. I owe a huge part of my career to his guidance. When I visited him back at school recently, he wouldn't stop talking about you. He even showed me some of your group projects from class. I have to say that was a first. In all my time with Professor Hao, I've never heard him mention a student that many times. He really thinks highly of you, Yuan. When he heard you couldn't enter the industry because of some family issues, he was genuinely heartbroken. I didn't expect you to make your debut just a few months after graduation." Hearing Gu Qing'an's explanation, it all made sense. No wonder he offered to read with you at the audition and was so proactive about saying hello. He was an alumnus. This was getting awkward. You had assumed he had some ulterior motive. You felt like a jerk for judging him so harshly. Once you realized the connection, you dropped the act. I offered a sincere apology. "I'm sorry, Gu. I didn't know who you were, and I completely misread the situation. My manager warned me that the industry isn't as simple as it used to be. She told me to be careful to always expect the worst from people. That's why I was so defensive." Gu Qing'an brushed it off with a wave. "No need to apologize. Your manager's right. The business has definitely changed for the worse. There's nothing wrong with protecting yourself. In this world, assuming the worst of people is just common sense. I only explained the connection so you wouldn't feel pressured. I didn't want you overthinking things. After all, we studied under the same professor. And now we're on the same set. We have a lot of scenes together. Given our history, I wanted to reach out and look after you a bit. Since this is your first real production, feel free to ask if you're unsure about anything. I'm not the best in the business, but I've been around longer than you. I'm happy to help. Thanks, I really appreciate that. You nodded in appreciation. Just then, Director Yang called for Gu Qing'an to prep. He ended the conversation and headed toward the set. You weren't in the next scene, so you pulled out your script. To keep studying. Cajun leaned in, looking curious. Hey, Yuan, I didn't know you graduated from the same acting program. You're actually his junior. Yeah, why? You looked up at him. Cajun's eyes were practically sparkling. Don't you think it's like a movie? The superstar senior and the handsome rookie junior? It's such a perfect ship you'd had enough. Oh, you rolled up your script and gave him a playful swat on the head. Listen, if you start shipping me with people and acting crazy, I'm going to have to ask Sue for a new assistant. No, wait, I'm sorry, I'll stop. Please don't fire me. Kyojin immediately started pleading. I love being your assistant. I get to hang out with a good-looking guy every day. You wondered if this kid was actually sane. You shook your head, helplessly ignored his rambling, and went back to your script to prepare for your next scene. Time flew by. After nailing your final scene of the day in a single take, filming for the day finally wrapped. The crew started packing up. Once you changed into your own clothes, you and Cajun headed for the exit. You were waiting for the car Sue sent to take you back. Since it was the first day of filming, the schedule wasn't too demanding. The scenes were mostly focused on the female lead Wei Ying just joining the Qing Yun sect. So aside from your character A Miao, the other love interest for the lead, hadn't made their appearances yet. You hadn't even had the chance to meet the other actors. Once inside the van, you let out a long yawn. It had been a long, fulfilling day. You were ready to crash. But just as you were drifting off, Cajun's shouting jolted you awake. Yunei, look at Weibo, you're trending, you're famous. Despite his high-pitched noise, you logged into your main account. The top trending topics were dominated by the immortal Deer crew. It turned out that after filming ended, Director Yang wanted to keep the hype going until the show actually premiered. So she released 3 exclusive clips. First was your sword dance as A Miao. Second was Gu Qinghan as Wei Ying getting into a heated confrontation. And third was a compilation of behind-the-scenes bloopers. Those 3 videos practically set Weibo on fire, instantly claiming the top spots on the trending list. The comment section was absolute chaos. My husband is so hot. He's killing me. Don't fall for Wei Ying, babe. That girl's a player. Wait, weren't you guys supposed to be hardcore fans of the original novel? I am. I love the book, but that doesn't mean I like the female lead. I'm only here for the gorgeous men, especially A Miao. He's beautiful badass and has a heart of gold. He's my baby. As for Wei Ying and her messy love life, yeah, that's a hard pass for me. Amidst the wave of excitement, several targeted comments started popping up. Seriously, this rookie is buying trending spots every day. It's getting annoying. Fang Yuan is just a fraud living a stolen life. How does he even get these roles? As the news spread that Fang Yuan was a fake heir, the fans who were arguing or discussing the show all went silent. After a brief pause, a mob of curious outsiders flooded in. Your Weibo was immediately under siege, but by then you'd already showered and were fast asleep, completely unaware of the storm brewing online. Meanwhile, at the Mu family villa, Mu Wanning watched the online backlash with a cold, satisfied smirk. Since the Fangs want to play hardball, then she shouldn't blame her for playing dirty. She wanted to see how the Fang family would respond. Would they side with Lu Jingyan, their biological son, or would they stand by you, the fake son they'd raised for over a decade? Her phone rang. She saw the caller ID was Gu Chen and answered in high spirits. Hello, you did good, Gu Chen. Director Wang is casting for a new project the Mu family is funding. I think the lead role is perfect for you. Go in for an audition tomorrow. And don't worry, the audition is just a formality. The role is definitely yours. On the other end of the line, Gu Chen grinned from ear to ear and blew a kiss into the receiver. Thanks so much, Miss Mu. When are we going to hang out? I've missed you. Soon, you little devil. Just wait. I'll be waiting. He hung up and his expression instantly turned cold. He stared at the video of your sword dance on his monitor and swept the glass off his desk in a rage. Bastard. Because you used to be Mu Wanning's fiancé, she always acted too pure to let Gu Chen touch her. Every time she felt rejected by you, She'd take her frustrations out on him. Now that the truth about you being a fake heir was finally out, the Fangs hadn't kicked you out. They'd even helped you get into show business. Seeing you go viral on Weibo, after just one single role, made Guchen's blood boil with envy. Why was everything so easy for you? You get one role and become an instant star, while he has to claw his way through the industry, sleeping with producers and directors just to get a part. If he hadn't latched onto Muwaning, he'd still be jumping from one powerful person's bed to the next, trading his body for resources. Compared to you, he felt like a rat in a sewer, forced to look up from the dirt. But seeing the vitriol being thrown at you online, he finally started to laugh. Fang Yuan, I want to see if you can still survive in this business. Once this scandal breaks you, your parents didn't follow the online gossip, and both you and Lu Jingyan were busy with your own lives. You were already out cold in bed. Su Wanro saw the comments online and tried calling you several times, but you didn't pick up. She had no choice but to call Bai Min. Luckily, she finally got through. Someone leaked Fang Yuan's identity. I don't know who did it, but it's already all over the internet. The comments are a mess. People are saying all sorts of things, but I can't get through to Fang Yuan at all. Bai Ningbing had just finished several major meetings and hadn't even had a chance to eat yet. After hearing Su Wanro's report, she went silent. As a CEO, she truly couldn't understand why a newcomer was being targeted every single day. This was already the second time. She couldn't help but second-guess herself again. Was letting you enter the industry really the right move? She didn't need the money. She didn't need her partner out there working for a paycheck. Why take someone as pure as you and throw them into that toxic cesspool? The urge to just lock you away surfaced once more. When she didn't get an immediate answer, Su Wanro had to push for instructions. Regarding Fang Wen, Su Wanro Bai Ningbing interrupted her, her voice heavy with exhaustion. Do you actually think he's cut out for this business? What the question caught Su Wanro completely off guard. Why would you ask that, ma'am? I mean, it's obvious. He doesn't even have a major lead role yet, but just playing A Meow has kept him trending for 2 weeks straight. It proves he has that it factor. He has immense potential, and it's not just that the character is well written. A great role is worthless if the actor can't handle it. He's a natural artist. He was born to do this. No one is better suited for this industry than he is. But he's barely got a foot in the door, and he's already been stabbed in the back twice. Bai Ningbing's voice was low and grim. Hearing that, Su Wanro's heart sank. Oh no, you aren't regretting letting him join, are you? In the beginning, she might have agreed with that sentiment. But after seeing your passion for acting and the detailed, dense notes in your script, she knew that given enough time, you would definitely reach the top. No manager is without ambition. When they see a talent like yours, how could they not be excited? Now, the boss wanted to end your career. Just because some people were playing dirty, she couldn't let that happen. Ma'am, every flower that blooms, every flower is destined to be picked eventually. But you can't just let it rot in the soil because of that. Su Wanro's voice was firm. The fault lies with the one picking the flower, not the flower itself. There are many ways to protect it, but none of them involve stopping it from blooming. Silence followed on the other end of the line. Su Wanro checked her screen. At least she hadn't hung up. Finally, Bai Ningbing spoke, her voice sounding drained. I understand. Don't worry about the rest. I'll handle it. The line went dead with a series of beeps. Su Wanro sighed. She felt the boss was still too young and inexperienced. If Bai Ningbing really ended your career over this, she knew your stubborn streak well enough to know that the boss would never win you over. Not in this lifetime. After hanging up, Bai Ningbing sat in deep thought for a long time. She knew her instincts were wrong, but she couldn't help worrying about you. You shouldn't have to deal with such malice. But Su Wanro was right. Protecting a flower has never meant stopping it from blooming. She couldn't fix the entire industry, but she was confident she could protect you. Besides, while this was a hassle, it was also an opportunity. She could see how much you could handle, and she could finally see if the Fang family was even worth staying with. Once she made up her mind, Bai Ningbing picked up her phone again. Her fingers flew across the screen as she sent out several messages. Are you asleep? Get up and get to work. I want you to spend whatever it takes. Every account on Weibo claiming Fang Yuan is a fake heir. Get them banned. You don't have to make it permanent. Just lock them out for the night. Let him and the Fangs handle the cleanup tomorrow. Xiaomi, who was currently enjoying a late-night snack with Shen Ji, looked at her phone. and felt her soul leave her body. That heartless, lovesick woman? The boss is making us work after hours again. Shenji was in the middle of a kebab. When he saw Xiaomi's disgusted expression, he leaned in to see what was wrong. He froze for a second after reading the message, then immediately looked away, terrified Xiaomi would drag him into it. But he was too late. Xiaomi grabbed him by the collar. Ziyi, you have to help me. We're both the boss's top assistants. There's no way I'm doing this overtime alone. You relax, sipping your beer and eating your skewers. Isn't that right? Get off me. The boss reached out to you, not me. Why should I have to do any work? Shenji struggled to break free. The two of them were practically wrestling. Then another message came in from Bai Ningbing. Shenji is with you, right? Tell him to help you out. Xiaomi grinned when she saw the text. She put Shenji in a headlock. See boss's orders. Suck it up and get to work. Shenji slapped her hand away and reached for his laptop. Another message from Bai Ningbing popped up. I appreciate you two taking care of this. It's the end of the month, so payroll is already locked in. I can't adjust this month's pay, but I can handle next month. I'll double your bonuses for next month. When he saw that last sentence, Shen Zhi nearly jumped for joy. Without thinking about whether she could hear him, he blurted out, "You're the best, Mom." He didn't even miss a beat. "Thanks, Mom. I'm on it right now. Just leave it to me." He sprinted for his laptop like he was in a track meet. He booted it up and logged onto Weibo. He was coordinating with the bot farms in seconds. Xiaomi paused while typing her reply. At the end of the message, she added Shen Zhiyi. Says, "Thanks, Mom. He's already working on it." He said to just leave it to him. She hit send and tucked her phone away. She couldn't help but smirk, imagining the boss's face. When she read that last part, when Bai Ningbing got the text, her mouth actually twitched. She stared at Xiaomi's message on the screen for a second, then sighed and closed the chat. She grabbed her coat and walked out of the office. Driving her Rolls-Royce, Bai Ningbing headed to the university district. She wove through the bustling crowds until she reached a packed noodle shop. She pushed the door open. "I'll take an order of handmade noodles to go." Her cool, refined voice cut through the noisy shop. Her custom Italian dress was a loud, clear sign that she didn't belong in a place like this. The noodles are $9 plus $1 for the container. 10 total. You can scan the code right there. The owner's wife didn't even look up while she worked. She scribbled the order down and slid the ticket through the kitchen window. She finally looked up and saw who it was. "Oh, is that you, Ningbing? It's been so long since I've seen you." "What's with the, oh, are you interning, honey? The clothes are just for work." Bai Ningbing's tone softened significantly. "I worked late and haven't eaten yet. I suddenly had a craving for your family's noodles, so I took the long way around to stop by. Let me tell your uncle. I'll have him give you an extra large portion." With that, Auntie Xia pulled back the curtain and squeezed into the kitchen. When she came back out, she saw Ningbing was already scanning the payment code. She rushed over to stop her. "Put that away, no paying. If you kids hadn't stepped in to help us back then, our son's life would have been ruined. You've supported our business for years, even helped us with free advertising. We usually can't stop you when the place is packed, but since it's just you tonight, don't even think about paying. It's hard enough for young people starting out." Bai Ningbing had no choice but to put her phone away. Auntie Xia looked at her as she remembered something. "Right, Ningbing? I heard from your roommates that you like that Yuan kid. Is that actually true?" Bai Ningbing just smiled without saying a word. "Your order's ready," came a shout from the kitchen. Along with the voice, an honest-looking middle-aged man walked out with the packed noodles. He set them in front of her. "Here you go, Ningbing." "Thanks, Uncle D." "Auntie Xia, Uncle D. I'll see you later." Shortly after she left, the payment notification on the counter suddenly blared. 10,000 yuan received via WeChat Pay. The couple froze and quickly checked the transaction records. The note attached to the 10,000 yuan payment read, "Auntie Xia, Uncle D, please keep this. I don't need the money, but you do. Once I finally win over my senior, I'll bring him back here for some noodles." Bai Ningbing saw the payment successful alert on her screen, locked her phone, and hit the gas. Her car quickly blended into the night, disappearing from the University District's food street. On Weibo, as Xiaomi and Shen Jia got to work, many accounts spreading the fake air rumors about Fang Yuan, along with the trolls following the trend, suddenly found themselves banned for 12 hours. This meant that for the rest of the night, they couldn't post a single word or video. It was basically a temporary blackout. They were absolutely blindsided and furious. They all swarmed other social media apps to vent, but the most confused ones Where the hired trolls Gu Chen had paid off. They'd done dozens of jobs like this, but they'd never been banned before. Didn't the client say? He was just some rookie with no connections. Someone who can trigger mass bans on Weibo has no connections. They had every right to be pissed, to control the narrative. They'd used several high-profile accounts. Even if it was only a 12-hour ban, it threw a wrench in their other jobs. Those accounts had more than one assignment tonight, while the trolls and followers were just complaining and regretting the job the one who actually hired them. Gu Chen's top fan, Lan Qinghe, sat there with a deep frown. Lan Qinghe grew up comfortably, but his parents were too conservative and missed the tech boom, leading to the family's decline. He'd been bitter about it ever since. After entering the industry, he valued success above everything else. He was obsessed with Gu Chen, seeing a reflection of his own struggle in Gu Chen's self-made persona. He became a die-hard fan, even spending his own money to sabotage Gu Chen's rivals. The reason he leaked your fake heir identity was partly due to Gu Chen's hints, but mostly because he couldn't stand you. Why were you born into a life of luxury? Even if you were a fraud, you still got the Fang family's love and top-tier resources, while he and Gu Chen had to fight tooth and nail just to survive at the bottom. But now every troll account he paid for was banned, and even his own main account wasn't spared. Lan Qinghe stared at the ban notification on his phone screen, shaking with pure rage. Fang Yuan, who the hell is backing you? What he didn't know was that this was only the beginning. What Bai Ningbing had planned went way beyond banning a few accounts.